Hello and welcome to the Rum Revival. It's Arminder here. How's it going? So I just grabbed this brand new rum the other day. This is Probitas Green Label, and it might look familiar because, of course, we have Probitas White, or I guess, are we now calling this beige label or tan label? Whatever. This has been around for a bunch of years, and we've got a new addition to the Probitas lineup. I mean, it's not a lineup until you have at least two, I guess. Up until this, it was just Probitas. Once you add another one, that's how it becomes a lineup, right? I guess. When does it become a range? I don't know, when you add a third one, maybe? So what is going on with this one here? Well, unlike the white one, which is 47%, this is 57%. And obviously, the color is very, very different. This is not aged any longer, but it has a lot of caramel color added to it. Purposely so to make it a, quote-unquote, kind of, I guess, dark rum. The Foursquare makes their own caramel by heating up sugar, and they use that in some of their products, and they used a crap ton of it here. Now, in terms of what's actually in these rums, I think they're pretty much the same. They have the same components. Maybe the proportions are a little different, or a lot different, but both from Foursquare have a 2-year-old pot still rum, an unaged coffee column still rum, and then from Hampton Estate, they have a unaged pot still rum. I believe, at least for sure, definitively, in this one, it's L Rock, the L Rock mark, which is the third lowest mark in terms of esters, but it's plenty funky. I think it's the first mark that uses dunder and muck. Potentially this also uses L Rock. Some sources online say it's a lower ester mark than the L Rock that's used here. Other people say, no, this always has had L Rock. I don't know, man. I'm just gonna report to you what I've found, and you can decide what's in there. You may be right, you may be wrong, but only, I guess, Richard knows. Anyways, I am very excited about this. Now, when I first heard about this a couple months back, my mind immediately went to one rum and one rum only to see how this would compare, and that is Worthy Park 109. This is the other rum in my life, in your life. I think that is 50 plus ABV, 54.5% ABV, that has a lot of caramel coloring added to it. Now, of course, this is from Worthy Park, and it's all Jamaican, unlike this only being partially Jamaican, but I was like, okay, I would love to compare this to this, because this I use all the time. It's one of my go-to, it is definitively my go-to dark rum to mix with, but it's more than just that, right? It is the higher ABV, it's the Jamaican-ness of it all. It really adds a lot of different things to a cocktail. So I was really curious to see. So I've only had a small little pour of this last night. If you want to see what my thoughts on that are, well then check out my Patreon. I have a video where I briefly give my first impressions of how it tastes neat. Sign up for one of the tiers and you'll know. I'm not gonna tell you, because Papa's gotta get paid. But anyways, what I decided to do the moment I got this was I was gonna try this, both of them, and compare them in a Planter's Punch, because I love Planter's Punches. They're the best cocktails, and that has become my new reference point on how I try out a new rum and kind of see how it does with other ingredients. I know folks love to talk about taking a brand new rum and making a daiquiri with it. I've realized that I'm not necessarily a fan of that. I guess it's gonna be controversial. I was gonna say I don't like daiquiris, that's too strong. I'm indifferent, you know, but I sure as hell love Planter's Punches. And the beauty of Planter's Punches, as kind of a reference point to use to try out a rum, is it's got more rum in it relative to the other ingredients. So it's more rummy. And I love my cocktails to be more rum forward, more rummy. And so I was like, well, yeah, why wouldn't I always go with the Planter's Punch? I'll share my recipe for the Planter's Punch somewhere here on the screen or somewhere down below. So to me, that's the way I prefer to try out a cocktail. So what I'm gonna do is compare these two. However, before I do that, I'm actually gonna add another rum to the mix, and it's not the Probitas White. A lot of people were saying, I can't wait to try this to see how it compares to my go-to mixing rum, Smith & Cross. And there were a lot of people online talking about how, I wonder if this can replace my Smith & Cross. I never thought to make that connection. Now, in hindsight, both are actually pretty close to ABV. The ABV is the same, but 57% ABV. But this is not I would not think of this as a rum that's heavily colored. Now, they probably do add a little bit of caramel, maybe here to add some color, but it's not a really dark Jamaican rum. But folks were talking about seeing how this compares to this. And I thought, okay, fine. And then, about a week ago, some bartender friends I know got their hands on this, and they tried it, and they said, wow, this really reminds me of Smith & Cross. And I was like, okay, fine. At this point now, I will have to compare Smith & Cross to Probitas Green Label as well. So that is what I'm gonna do in this video, is make 3 different Planter's Punches with all these 3 rums and try them and compare them blind, and to see which one is my favorite, or I guess rank all of them. So I'm gonna go and make 3 different cocktails. I'll be right back. Okay, so I've made the Planter's Punches. As you can see here, they're in like these teal plastic cups. I did that on purpose because if I put them in clear glassware, it might be a little obvious as to which one I was drinking, because there's some pretty big differences in terms of the color, like especially between Worthy Park 109 versus Smith & Cross. Smith & Cross doesn't look like it is dark really at all, and so it kind of might be obvious as to what I was drinking, so I purposely put it in something that wasn't clear. And I want to give a big shout out to the late great Con Tiki, which was an awesome tiki bar in Oakland. They're no longer around, and I miss them very much. Anyways, we'll start with this one here on the left. I'll call it number 1. Cheers. Ooh, it started very rummy, very boozy. Then the sweetness came in towards the back end, which was kind of nice. A little balance out the rumminess. Slightly tart tropical fruits. There's like even some dried fruit, like some prune action maybe happening here that I kind of really like. So much better than drinking like daiquiris right now. I feel like this is a cocktail. Daiquiri, it's a daiquiri. Love it, not trying to get some hate. I'm sure people are upset with my thoughts on daiquiris, but like this is something that will wake you up, you know? Okay, we're gonna move on to number 2 here. Cheers. Oh, interesting. Well, not as bold on the back end here, kind of, not peters out, but kind of diminishes a little bit. That is a good drink. I like that. But it's doesn't have the dynamic range that the first one did. It's kind of, all the flavors are kind of mid-range. The fruit's there, but it's not turned up. I do get some of that dried fruit that I got in the first one. A little bit of that plum prune thing going on as well. Let's move on to number 3. Cheers. Oh, that is a hell of a Planter's Punch. Oh, that just has these really nice, more dark fruit, dried fruit, like berry flavor, burnt sugar, caramel, slight molasses kind of thing happening here. Love it. Fantastic Planter's Punch. Back to number 1. There is a little, not acidity, funky, kind of slight medicinal cough medicine kind of thing there, kind of in the middle, a little bit, I guess tussin is the word I want to use. Okay, number 2. Second time around now, there's more to this now than before. There's a brown sugar element. There's a fruity element. It's more of a dry Planter's Punch on the back end. It kind of really does dry out. Okay, let's go to the last one again. Okay, well, this is definitely my favorite. It's just right out of the gate, bam. I love that, love that, love that. It's my kind of jam. Back to number 1. I think the more I drink one, the more the novelty of it kind of wears off, and it kind of, not that it's flat, but there's nothing necessarily exciting about it. One, my first place, which is the one number 3 all the way at the end, every single time there's been some highs, lows, big flavors, deep dark flavors. There's just excitement. And I felt that way with the first one, the first sip. Now it's just kind of, it's just there. Like it's like it's ticking the boxes, but it's not exciting or dynamic. There you go. I like that. Back to number 2. Every round I go back to number 2. The more I'm into it, you know, the more I'm beginning to like it. But it's just doing something very different. It's got like layers that it's slowly unraveling. It's like burnt caramel thing happening. But underneath that, there is almost like a floral aspect here that's actually kind of very intriguing. I don't think I've had half of each of them. I've probably had at least maybe a third of each, which, given their ABV, that's a lot of alcohol. Woo. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and rate these real quick. Now, I think I've kind of gushed over the number 3 here, so that is definitely my favorite. I think the challenge for me is figuring out between the first one and the second one, which one is my second place, which one is my third place. And to be honest, I've gone back and forth, but there's something about one of the middle that really just intrigues me. I do wish it kind of lasted longer on the back end, on the finish. It doesn't quite do that, but man, it's a flavor that I've come to, it took a while to grow on me, I've come to really love. And given that, I'm gonna make that my second place rum. And then a very close third place, I think, is this first one here. Like, it's a solid B Planter's Punch. And a B is, look, we should all strive to hit Bs or whatnot. I was a B+ student all my life, and it's doing everything rock solid, not rocking the boat. It's not crazy, but it gives you all the flavors that maybe you expect from a Planter's Punch while not doing anything kind of necessarily wild or unique. And so given that, I'm gonna make it a very, very close third place. So given all of that, let's see what I rated. So let's start with my third place here, which is the number 1, and that was Smith & Cross. Okay, yeah, I guess I'm not surprised. I've never rated Smith & Cross that high. I know a lot of people love it, and I'm not gonna talk shit because I like this, but Smith & Cross has never been a rum that I've been enamored by, I guess is the right word. I think a lot of people love it and it's their go-to kind of situation. I think maybe over the years I've just kind of gotten accustomed to it as a slightly fiery, high-proof, slightly funky Jamaican rum. And that's exactly what this Planter's Punch is, and that's great. So second place here is this one here in the middle, and this is Probitas. Okay, that kind of makes sense because that flavor that I was getting that I couldn't quite put my finger on is a kind of a new sensation. It's a new flavor that I haven't really experienced before, and kind of makes sense with the Probitas. It's a rum that I haven't really had before. I'm really interested in further exploring this in other cocktails because I think the flavor is really intriguing and I like it. It just didn't necessarily wow me to the level as the first one did. Actually, I was gonna look to see what the bottom of my first place was, but I think it's pretty clear what it is. I think I know exactly what it is, and of course it's Worthy Park 109, which makes sense because it's one of my favorite things. So that's it for me. I'm gonna probably drink my Worthy Park 109 Planter's Punch, but I'm curious here. When it comes to Planter's Punch, one, let me know if you think I'm wrong for saying that you should always try a brand new rum in a Planter's Punch instead of trying it in a daiquiri. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know how wrong I am. But when it comes to a Planter's Punch, do you have a go-to preferred rum you like to use? I would say, historically speaking, for me, outside of the Worthy Park 109, which I'm gonna make a lot of this, I usually go with Appleton 8. I think Appleton 8 is a fantastic rum, and I kind of have the last couple of years now used that in my Planter's Punches. And I know Smuggler's Cove for the longest time has used Appleton 8-year for their Planter's Punches as well. So let me know what your go-to rum is for a Planter's Punch. And again, if you want to support this channel, like this video, subscribe if you haven't already. Check out my Patreon, a bunch of exclusive content. You can see my thoughts on the Probitas Green Label as a sipping spirit. You get access to our Discord server. You can chat with other rum nerds. And then if you sign up for a certain tier, I've had a couple of Planter's Punches. One of the tiers, or two of the tiers, I think, you get access to our monthly online Zoom happy hour where you can chat with me, you can chat with other rum lovers. You can chat about rum, you can chat about whatever is going on in your life. I'll talk to you about anything, frankly, you know? Okay, that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Catch you all next time. Cheers. Hell of a rum. I need to order the biggest burrito that I've ever eaten, and I'm gonna eat that burrito, and then I'm gonna go to sleep. But until I see you next time, does any of that make sense?